And we're live. I'm here today with Ginta Rubin. She's an expert in exporting and also founder and CEO of I Today. We're going to start talking to her right after the countdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? This is a global transmission. Hayek will be live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enjoy the show.
So welcome, Ginta, to Hayek Business Reviews live on your article on exporting in 2 minutes. So,
Good
Ginta,
morning.
good morning. Tell us about what you do.
So I have done many things in my life and get to be part of different careers, but I think the most rewarding is what I do today, really helping small business, sometimes from the single person business to some of the largest companies in the United States and worldwide, not only for them to strategically grow, but help the local communities and other companies and businesses worldwide.
Very cool. So, let's say, just as a background, I'm here in Brasilia, and Ginta's in the United States, but she's Lithuanian, right? And we've lived in a very highly globalized world today, and businesses often have to do business in different countries, and exporting and importing is part of what we do in business today. Let's say I'm starting a business and I'm selling items to from Brazil to United States or other countries. What would you do if I'm the business person who wants to export?
So if
Where
I'm
would you start?
understanding, so if I'm understanding your question, you are Brazilian business exporting to United States or the other way around?
Could be Brazilian business exporting to United States.
Okay,
I don't know
got it.
if it makes a difference. I'm very not knowledgeable at all in this subject. So, what would
Super.
it be like?
Well, let's take it back a step. So I'm going to quote a very good friend of mine, Lisa, who says, this is for US businesses. The export is a right and import is a privilege, which means you have every right to export into different countries, and there's very few rules for you to export out of the United States. But there's a lot of rules to import into United States.
Okay.
Uh, every country has their own rules. So if you're Brazilian company exporting out of Brazil to United States, there's a lot of rules for you from United States, but maybe not as much from Brazilian standpoint. See the difference?
Mm-hmm.
So exports and imports does not equal of how many rules, regulations, tariffs, taxes you have to pay, the legal entity of the company you have to have, protection, which laws you're gonna follow, Brazil or United States, or even which state in United States you're gonna follow, depends on your customer. So from your example, most likely from United standpoint, your import becomes foreign direct investment, right, into United States. And in today's world, I would advise for you better off hiring someone local here and opening an affiliate with your company, because knowing how Brazil is, there's a very strict rules for cargo from Brazil to United States. Do you know what the Brazil is good for? What they doing?
Brazil,
Yeah,
I don't know, agribusiness.
that's one.
What else?
Aerospace.
Airspace.
Embraer making the airplanes out of
Wow,
Brazil.
very cool.
Huge competitor for Boeing. Massive.
So, is Embraer very well known in the United States for exporting?
Yes, for the small aircrafts. Boeing doesn't touch that or as much. So you would see the smaller aircrafts covered by Brazil. The other industry that I'm finding myself super passionate about it, out of Brazil, competition with Singapore. The United States is trying to get to that level, is sustainable aviation fuel called SAF.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, Brazil is taking down a lot of trees to make that fuel. So it's not really sustainable if you look at it, but
Hmm.
they don't have as strong regulations about sustainability as the rest of the world. But they are second largest producer of sustainable aviation fuel in the world.
So it's a fuel that's made from the trees.
Yes.
That's interesting. I haven't heard about that.
Sustainable aviation fuels, currently there are about 10 different technologies that running for approval per se, what you would consider sustainable aviation fuel. And one of the technology is mulch, pretty much shredded trees out of that trees, running through pulp, running through chemical process, and creating the jet fuel, JA jet fuel. United States are pushing for corn, made out of corn, ethanol, right? They call ethanol to alcohol. Europe does not want to use any trees, any food byproducts. They want to use post consumer, so cooking oil. After the McDonald's French fries went through, cook up for a couple of days. Japan wants to use something different. So there's about 10 different technologies that is lingering for world to agree which gonna win the race for using to be as a sustainable.
And all these technologies, these different fuels that I haven't even heard of. I've heard of gasoline and ethanol because that's what we put in our cars. Um, they 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 have different tax rules and different tariffs of importing, right? And I can think of like all the different other products would have some type of uh, uh, different way to be treated in the tax system. How is that all organized in a practical way?
Yes, so if you take a fuel, you would have to have a license and broker here in the United States because a lot of the industries are very protected here in US and you have to go through distributions to enter the country. You cannot just come in. It's Edson Sustainable Aviation Fuel. Here it is. Buy it directly from the producer. It's not that simple. The taxation system goes through two levels. Goes through federal, and goes through local, state, and sometimes even regional, if that's applicable where you are. The As an import, you dealing with the border patrol inspection, making sure you truly shipping what you're shipping, truly the quantities. You have permits, you pay tariffs on it. So that's a third layer of the money that's costing you to do it. And often that's held back if there is, let's say, inappropriate paperwork filed somewhere or it's a missing paperwork that's held at the border in the United States and does not reach your consumer or the warehouse. So when I meet with the businesses, we go through multitudes of decisions. One strategy. My first question: why are you doing this? Why is it important to you? um, if somebody is able to say why, I want to bring this new technology, I have this amazing idea and product, I think world needs to know, or I just want to make money and I think US is untapped opportunity. Okay, how did you think, how are you going to do this? I don't know, my uncle ships peanuts to United States, so I think I'm just going to use his career. Maybe, maybe not. Did you look into, did you take apart your cost? What's your raw material? Do you have enough supply? Do you know who's your end user? Did you look into that? Can
Uh-huh.
they buy it? What's your competition? does anybody else making it do have patents. Sometimes it's worth to have patent, sometimes it's not. Because pre-patent, first 12 months, you do not disclose any information, but your product is protected. After that, you have to disclose process, ingredients, all of it open to the world. So a lot of companies don't do patents because they want to keep it secret of what they do.
Interesting.
So question is, are you only patent in the United States, Brazil only Europe, or are you doing worldwide patent? Completely different process. How are you going to do it?
Sometimes the company has a patent in Brazil, doesn't have it in the United States, and then he might get copied there by the competitors if he brings the
Correct?
product over
You're
there.
not protected here. If you protect in the United States, you're not protected in Europe. And that's all, that's one world, but it's still segregated. You still have to know how you want to protect yourself.
So your
It,
work spans a lot more than just importing and exporting. You also go into the business side.
I go at least 30,000 feet up. I, I do look in the larger picture. I don't go nitty gritty into details. I hand off to specialists to let company figure it out. But I go high and pointed out all the triggers that might trip them, and something they may have not thought about it, what it would take and what could be and possible issue. Um, Legal system, right? Brazil has a very different legal system than United States. So your client might want to have contract written where they live. So you say you exporting your fuel to one of the busiest airport in in the United States for cargo, Atlanta, let's say.
Mhm.
So business or receiver of fuel in Atlanta wants to have Georgia contract with you. So now if there's dispute, you have to hire U.S. attorneys, and as a Brazilian company, you have to fly to Georgia.
Mhm.
So you outside your comfort zone, right? So that's where it gets negotiated and decided. Or might not be able to take your fuel all the way to Georgia. Maybe you're taking to only Texas. That's the line goes through it, and from there is being railroaded to Atlanta. Now you crossing multiple states.
Interesting. And what is the difference if I were to import from United States to Brazil?
The other way around.
The other way around.
The other way around, you playing with the different set of books. Now you as a US company exporting, there's no taxes that you're paying here in US, depending where you're parking your money, right? Are you bringing it back or are you keeping investment abroad? Currently, there's all changes in the federal government trying to bring a lot of investments back instead of keeping abroad, right? So Brazilian, now not as much as familiar with their local laws, but as far as I know from shipping there, you have to have an agent, someone locally agent who's receiving on your behalf. Someone already pre-approved, have a license to it. That agent has not even a salesperson, it's just receiving your product at the border of Brazil. From there, handoff goes to your distribution and it goes to wherever your last consumer is. Um, it's a tough country. You have to have someone you trust back there.
Yeah. Being from Brazil, I can attest that it is a tough country. It's tough for us, and I cannot imagine how tough it would be for a foreigner trying to do business here. Our legal system, taxes, and everything is a complete mess. And everyone knows, everyone talks openly about how messy it is.
But I have encountered many, as you said, ag companies from Brazil with the amazing technologies, amazing research and development, with the doing trying to do collaboration with the U.S. universities and bringing the technologies here, and sharing, and living the what they say American dream, and expanding themselves. And uh, often their business United States become twice, three times bigger than in Brazil. And the shift happens the other way around for the growth. But as again, every country has its own rules. And one thing I definitely need to mention is the cultural difference, right? How you
Mhm.
do business in your home country versus in US. um, if you come with the attitude, well, I'm just going to repeat what I did at home abroad because it works here, it has to work there, and I'm just going to tell them how it works and they're going to follow. I Yeah, you already set up yourself for failure.
Right.
So there's a lot of times from the beginning, besides the hard questions about how, why, and when you're going to ship, is how familiar are you with the consumer here in the United States, or with your contracts? You might think what you said it was sincere and honest, and US might took it, that's you arrogant and you just trying to push your agenda.
Right.
The
Right.
contract falls apart before it even starts. So there's a lot of cultural differences, and needs to be ironed out. First and foremost, each country has their own diplomacy and trade representation in major cities. So I tell foreign companies, you're already paying their salaries. Might as well reach out and get assistance on ground in the United States. Be that your consul general from Brazil, right? Or trade commissioner who is focusing on business side versus diplomacy. But yeah, if you have visas issues or anything connection with the locals or local government entities, your consul general or embassy is the place to go. They are Their role is there to help you abroad.
So they're good tips there. You count with the local knowledge, right? So if you're a business in Brazil going to the US, you need someone locally in the US to get you through. And same thing here in Brazil, exporting here to Brazil, you would need local knowledge. I can imagine this is for anywhere in the world, right? You would want to have local expertise.
Well, remember that movie, Everyone Knows Your Name at the bar, at the Cheers? That home feeling, wherever you go, someone that's familiar with you, and you in a foreign country, but yet that familiarity, it means a lot. And you could rely on it, and they guide you through it, opens the doors that you might not be able to do it yourself. So absolutely. And I joke it, but don't joke at the same time. You're already paying their salary at home. So they work for you. Why not?
Exactly. And what is the importance that you see? And here I'm thinking about students, right? Students starting in college. Um, what is the importance of having a good cultural IQ in the sense that you are able to relate with people from different cultures if you want to do business abroad? Like understanding that there are different cultural norms, sometimes learning how to respect what is different and speaking in a certain way with different cultures. How important is that in your opinion?
You have to. It's a must. I don't think that's even a discussion, if an option. Um, Even at school, if you see someone looks different, or international student, talk to them. You will find that humanity is very much alike. We all have the same problems with our siblings, and pets, an ability to have or to want what can have. That's very much so universal. But uh, have their meal. You get to know culture through food very quickly. Sit down and listen of someone's childhood stories of what they did, how they address it, because we carry that into the business world, definitely. For what we're experiencing at home and what we're experiencing in the society, we carry that into our careers in the business world. What really helped me, and it became almost a guide book, and I suggest often international CEOs. I believe it's written by Susan Meyer, called Cultural Map. It's a book written by executive, traveling executive, from kind of American standpoint. Where does, as an American CEO, your culture and thinking compare to that other country on a linear scale? Um, how far are you? How similar? What's the difference? How they work, and what their trigger points? What makes sense in the meetings here in the US, it may not make sense in Japan. And her conclusion is the older the nation, the more rich the history, the further is apart from American culture. So, we pretty close to most of Europe, maybe not as much as Southern Europe, but we are very, very far apart from Asia.
Hmm.
So that's why a lot of contracts take so long, because they need to trust you. They have a certain rules. And here in the US, we, at the click of finger, we're gonna want like, okay, so it's done. Move on. Let's get going. Um, I being a first generation here, it took me a while to get used to and understand. And there was a lot of like raised eyebrows. So what do you mean? Or it's like, it's obvious. They would say a joke here in US and they say it's a joke. Duh, I get it. You don't have to say that. You just kill the joke. In the more complicated cultures, they say a subtle joke, and if you don't get it, they measure your intellect. Like, okay, I just threw the curveball, you didn't get it. I don't think this contract will work. Just you not up to par on it.
And often, like, the more you also interact with different cultures, you start to understand that it's okay if they don't understand your joke, right? You're coming from a different standpoint.
Humor does not cross borders. Just
Yeah.
letting you know. Um, because it is very cultural, is very local. There are some international jokes that everybody gets it, and that's very well overused. But um, often it's missed. Is missed, how it is. So you find what works for that person, or that culture, and I often do self-demeaning joke, that puts me sort of step below where they are, out of respect to them, and I would say, I tried to learn how to speak in Brazil accent, and I failed. So my apologies for not even trying. So you showcasing that, trying to relate it in a humor way. But working with a variety of cultures, I think I got pretty good grasp of what it is, and looking for subtle cues. You know immediately who's who in the room and how to address it. You see the body language, you see the eye movements, you see the tone of the voice, and you could tell within first 2 minutes if this is going to be a fruitful meeting or not.
Hmm. And what are general tips that you could give to young people in general who are starting in college today?
Start the business right away. Um, it is true what they say, 100% your ideas, no action is just ideas. And I will say, and pretty rude joke here. Everybody has ideas, like you have your butthole. I'm sorry, we do. But if you don't take action, if you don't just see where it goes, sometimes you will be surprised. Um, Learn to run your life like corporate. So you having the budgets, you setting aside time for it, for things you love to do, things you don't love to do. But often the ideas that come to your head, the crazy ones, are the ones probably going to make you the most money. Um, I do remember years ago, I was driving every morning to work, and I hated it. I hate when you have to drink the coffee cup and you tilt your head and you can't see the road. I'm like, well, this is foolish, really. But I need that coffee to drive. I said, wouldn't it be nice just to have a chewing gum with full caffeine? And then 2 months later, Wrigley comes out of, caffeine gum. You don't have to drink coffee to get awake. Um, then I worked with the company that was selling appliances. I was like, white color, there's not a single white furniture in my house, piece of furniture. Why is all the appliances white? Can I just customize like my car? Like if I order my car dealer, I could customize the color. It costs me what? But why can't I do that? Why can't I call G and say, I want periwinkle pink washing machine? Why not?
Sometimes it's just the mindset of knowing that you can actually solve the problems, right, that see in front of you. And once you identify them, taking action upon it.
Take action and don't tell anybody.
Why don't tell anybody?
I've seen so many great ideas picked up by someone else and run it faster. If you don't tell the whole story. Just ask for you where you got stuck. How do I do this? If I ought to apply paint to metal, which paint manufacturers would I talk to? How do I go about the subcontracting of making such a such thing? Now, if people ask you why, yeah, do big, right? If you're really going something big, get NDAs, get attorneys to write a good non-disclosure agreements. That's your legal protection from it, and then talk business. So don't tell anybody until it's done deal.
Amazing.
Because
And also
I've
do the patents, trademarks, all that.
trademarks, register marks, yes. You need to all it legal to be done before it's all announcement. Often people who really support you, love you, they will be excited no matter what. But often people out of jealousy have no wish of anything good. It's just negative.
Right.
So don't tell anybody, just do it, go for it, learn it, do research about it. The more you know, understand about yourself, the easier it is to do things. And then you quickly pick up for people who either there to jeopardize what you're doing or really there to help you. So
Amazing. Great tips. Ginta, thank you so much for the conversation today. If people want to get in touch with you or know more about what you do, what is the best way?
I'm a phone call away, but preferably email away.
Or can they also reach you out in LinkedIn?
Yes, LinkedIn is available as well. Pre-warning, I don't accept everybody's LinkedIn invitation. I do accept the notes. I guard very well the connections I have because they are pretty high level. So I accept those who truly I believe could benefit from it. just to keep the network at the high level and profitable for everyone else.
Sounds great. Thank you very much for your conversation and for your contribution to Hayek Business Review.
Indeed, look forward to it. Have a blessed one.
Thank you.